Joining us. This is Jason. I'm with Pastor Dave, and I got questions, and he's got answers. Hey, Dave, I actually heard you talk about this in last Sunday's message, and it posed a question for me as you were delivering the message. And the question I have for you is, what is it to be a believer?
Very good.
Do you remember that question?
No, but to be a believer.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the questions that you could probably interview a lot of church goers, people who attend regularly, and they wouldn't be able to answer it for sure with clarity of understanding and all. A believer would be everything that Jesus referred to, that apart from me you'll not see the Father. I am the way, the truth, and the life. He asked Martha one time when her brother had just passed away, her and her sister were in mourning, and he said, I am the resurrection. And he says, he who believes in me will never die. And then he asked her, do you believe that, Martha? And so the question of what's a believer, it's the belief in everything that the Lord declares of himself. It's that trusting in the Lord. Believe has become defined in a very loose way in the days that we're in. It's become something that I think the English language has lent itself towards this, but it's the idea that somehow because I acknowledge the existence of the Lord, therefore I'm a believer. Believing is the idea of casting your weight of your life over upon the Lord and trusting he's going to hold you and that he's going to do what he promised he would do in that day that's coming, that moment when we'll be there in the presence of the Lord and bringing salvation. And so believing really is that idea of my life, I give it to the Lord. I trust you, Lord, to take my life and that you'll do in and through my life what you will, what you desire, and I give it to you freely. And so anything I think less than that is just simply acknowledging the truth of Jesus Christ, that he exists. And there's no guarantee of salvation for acknowledging the truth of Jesus Christ. He says in James declares that the devils believe and they tremble, knowing that that's not going to help them. Yeah. The idea of just simply acknowledging the truth of God and who he said he is and what he said he was doing and sending his son into the world, that's going to do no man anything. It's when you believe what he said, which is that I am the way, the truth, and the life, and he that believes in me. He talks about this idea of trusting in him, the casting of your weight upon him. I have nothing in my back pocket that I'm trusting in if this doesn't work. I'm trusting that the Lord is who he said he is, and that in that I have found salvation. The believer. Yeah.
The book of Romans tells us that if we confess with our mouth and believe in our heart that we'll be saved. And there's the belief that we'll believe and that we'll follow. So if that's a decision that you haven't made, I strongly encourage you to look into that and seek out God and ask him into your heart, because he promises that if we confess and we believe that we will be saved. Hey, thanks for joining us.